do this again?
Initiating alarm.
Wait, what?
System.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, I'm ready to start my day. Hi everyone, welcome back to David's Laboratory. If I learned one thing in my psychology class in college, it's that the best way to condition a human's behavior is with torture. No, not torture, punishment. That's why I utilize punishment as my primary tool for motivating people to wake up on time. With David's Laboratory's Alarm Clock System 4000. Check it out. So this is my electrical panel. And by electrical panel, I mean a cardboard shoebox with a bunch of relays and wires duct taped to it. It's got all your standard features of a typical electrical panel. It's got some arduinos, it's got a PCB board, a breadboard, some relays, duct tape. Just a typical electrical panel. Now I do want you to wake up on a good note. So before any corrective measures are taken, I establish a nice calm, soothing environment. The first measure is this moonlight here that I bought on Amazon for $26. Now, the moonlight has this container to control its settings, and if you rip this container off, you'll find this board here. Now, if you cut the cable coming out of the moonlight, you're going to have 3 wires on it. A white one, a black one, and a red one. Now, I don't know what the 3 wires do, but electrical work is like most things in life. It's generally best to just guess and hope for the best. If you send 12 volts to the black wire, and then send 5 volts to one of the other ones, the light will turn on. Now, in addition to a soothing light, you might want some soothing music. Now, I opted out of using some type of MP3 module, and instead communicate with the computer through a COM port. When the alarm clock starts, it will play some nice soothing music, royalty-free music, to comply with YouTube's terms of service. And if the pleasant moonlight and the soothing music doesn't wake you up on time, the alarm clock system will then proceed to trigger the more violent methods of waking you up. Now this hazard light, originally designed for emergency vehicles, was rewired to an Arduino. Now if you cut the wire to it, you're going to have 3 wires. A red one, a black one, and a yellow one. You want to send 24 volts to the red one, ground the black one, and just let the yellow one hang because I have absolutely no clue what that one does. To produce the siren effect of the alarm clock, I purchased 2 production-grade 24-volt, 100 decibel buzzers and mounted them on opposing sides of the rooms to create some kind of a Doppler effect, which now I realize probably makes no sense. But, I mean, I'm a college dropout, so what do you expect? One buzzer is mounted on the far wall on the other side of the room. The other one is mounted right here, with wires running across the ceiling so it does not mistakenly choke or harm anyone walking into my room. The sirens will function anywhere in the range of 3 volts to 24 volts. So to maximize the feeling of imminent danger, you're going to want to send 24 volts to the red wire and ground the black wire. I programmed physical activity into the system by installing 4 12-volt 3-amp actuators underneath the bed frame, so it can pick you up really high and force you to fall off a mini cliff. To amplify the punishment for not waking up on time, I did add a gun to the alarm clock system. Now, this is the same gun from the previous video, but instead of being mounted to the top of a tripod, it's now on top of an actuator. So as the bed goes up, the gun's going to go up with it. Now, if you watched my sentry turret video, you may have noticed that the gun looks a little bit different. Now, instead of being mounted to the top of a tripod, it's only mounted to the top of an actuator. Now, that wasn't by design. Oh no, I f***ed up. Okay, initially, the tripod were attached to the actuator. It was bolted on real tight. At the end of the alarm clock system run, the actuators will descend to the bottommost position. When it did that, and the tripod legs were on the floor, I ended up just ripping the box down to the floor, snapped it right off the metal tripod stand. It snapped the gun in half like a number 2 pencil. Completely f***ed it up. That's why you have to remember these actuators are very powerful. One of them alone could pick up 165 pounds, so it's going to move in whichever direction it wants to move in. It doesn't care if it needs to snap a metal pole or a couple fingers. It's pretty much just going to go wherever it wants to go. I know what you're thinking. How does the gun help me to wake up on time? Well, if you got to this stage of the alarm clock system, it's not about waking up on time anymore. Now it's about punishing you to improve your habits in the future. Now this here is an actuator. It's just a stick that can get longer or shorter depending on how you set up the wires. It comes with 2 wires, one red one and one black one. And if you cut the wire to the power cable, it also has a red one and a black one. If you touch the red wire to the black wire and the black wire to the red wire, the stick's going to get longer. But if you reverse it, it will retract. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. Alright, do not use this for that. Alright, just don't do it. I like to think that I don't have to tell you this in 2024. But just a couple years ago, y'all were out here eating Tide Pods. Alright, just don't do it. The last thing I want is for the next TikTok challenge to be what wacky things you can do with a 12-inch actuator. Right? Just don't do it. And if you survive the alarm clock system and you're finally ready to turn it off because you're awake, all you have to do is press this button right here. Very easy to do. Just gotta press that button. I have 3 Arduinos on this system. One of them is the master. It just kind of controls the main functions of the alarm clock. The second one controls the sirens, because I may have wanted to design some special patterns into it. And the third one controls the actuators, because I definitely want to change the patterns on those. Sometimes it's easier just to have each Arduino control a different function of the alarm clock than to program one really complex Arduino. I also have a assortment of various methods. I have soldering in some cases. Sometimes I'm just attaching DuPont wires. Sometimes I'm using a soldered PCB. Sometimes I have a breadboard. You know, I use duct tape to attach most things to the desk and boards and walls and everything. So it's kind of a fucked up system. You don't want to design your alarm clock like this. Now this here is a pile of power cables, supplying power to the various components on the alarm clock system. Now I've got a 5 volt, a 24 volt, a couple 12 volts. I think I got a 9 volt power supply on the gun over there. There's a whole bunch of power supplies. Now I'm going to give you a basic lesson on electricity. Let's say you have a light and you give it 5 volts. Yeah, the light's going to turn on, it'll be pretty bright. You can see a couple things. But what happens if you give it 12 volts? See, now the light's going to be brighter. You can see more things. It's a better light. Maybe you want to get really wild with it and plug it into the outlet of your bedroom. Give it a full 120 volts. Now you have one really big, massive light. See, you don't want to do that. See, that light is a fire and your house is burning down. You really want to stick to what the box says and just give it the 5 volts that it asked for. And let me tell you, building these wacky inventions is not easy. I left a mess of Orbeez all over the bed, on the floor, on my electrical panel. The wires running across the ceiling caught my neck on multiple occasions, ripping it out of the electrical panel. I was sleeping on the floor for about 2 months while I figure out how to attach the actuator to the bottom of the bed frame. It's definitely not an easy thing to do, but at the end of the day, it's always worth it. So now I'm going to demonstrate the alarm clock system for you. And if you want to know what I bought this train horn for, you're going to have to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I don't know what else to say now, so I'm just going to end the video.